To 6-2. What a comeback for Kevin O'Neal and his Wildcats to win it in overtime, 78-72. That's going to wrap it up for us from the United Center. For Steve Lavin and the entire ESPN crew, Brad Nessler saying so long. Let's head out to Ron Franklin and Hubert Davis in Kansas. Ron?
Okay, Brad, thanks so much. We've got a 12-9 ball game, just about to go under 11 minutes left to play in this opening half. And Kansas has been able to work some nice offensive plays, but turnovers, they have 7 already, and we've played 8 minutes. Inside and a jump ball. Possession arrow says it will go back to DePaul. Sharon Collins, for those of you just joining us, getting to play for the first time in quite a while because of a stress fracture, and in fact ahead of schedule, Hubert. They didn't think that he would be ready this quickly, but obviously the rehab work has been sensational as DePaul turns it over.
Yeah, he's going out right now. Coach Self is going to limit his minutes. We saw him practice yesterday, and it was kind of surprised to us. He didn't allude that he was going to play today, but he had his ankles taped in warm-up, so we thought maybe he'd get into the game, but that's a guy that just changes this team, particularly from an offensive standpoint, being able to get into the middle, distribute the basketball. He's only played 2 games, but he leads the team in points and already in assists.
Well, November the 11th is the last time that he played as the ball almost stolen right there by Dre Burns. And he missed a total of 6 games. I think as much as anything also, Bill wants to do something for his confidence, but also wants to help the confidence of the rest of the team.
Well, it's about preparation, getting into Big 12 play, NCAA tournament, and he felt that he was ready. So he's going to give them a couple minutes here. They don't play till next week, so this is a good opportunity to get some minutes in a game-type situation.
Well, last year it was on December the 2nd. KU was ranked number 5 in the nation, and they played DePaul, and they come back after being down by 14 points. Sammy Mejia right here scored 8 straight in the final 3 minutes. He finished with 23 points, and Wilson Chandler with 12 points, and DePaul won it in a huge upset, 64-57. Which really makes for an interesting situation. In fact, Jerry Wainwright, you see right there, the head coach of DePaul, he's got a better record than anybody against these Jayhawks. He brought a spider team in here from Richmond back in '04 and defeated KU in this building.
But he doesn't have Wilson Chandler and Sammy Mejia this time. Both of those guys in the NBA. Sammy Mejia drafted in the 2nd round of the Detroit Pistons, and then you look at Wilson Chandler drafted in the 1st round to the New York Knicks. So they do have a lead here in the first half, but it'd be nice if they were on the sideline for him.
Rush back in the lineup. We've already seen him one short stint. Sasha Khan came in for a couple of minutes and went back to the bench. He did not start. This man right here did, Darnell Jackson. Nice ball movement. Sasha Khan tries to reverse, puts it up to the right hand and scores.
And that's what they want to do. They really want to establish the post. You saw DePaul in the zone. Good strength by Sasha Khan getting the 2. Beautiful right hand jump hook.
Well, tipped right back to Coswell on the floor, and here's Rush. And that foul will go against number 3, Dre Burns, for DePaul.
Foul's called on number 3, Draymond Burns. That's his first personal foul.
First personal foul against him, 3rd personal foul against DePaul.
You know, it's interesting that DePaul's only down by 1, and their leading scorer, Dre Burns, really hasn't gotten it going offensively. He's had back-to-back 32-point games. He has 0 points thus far in the first half.
Hubert, what can they do to get him free?
Well, they said a lot of screens, a lot of pin-down plays. He is the go-to guy. He's a one guy in a one-on-one situation that can create his own shot, so they really have to headhunt his man. But they've got some good defenders on him. Russell Robinson, Brandon Rush, one of the better defenders in the country.
Chalmers off the mark on a 3-pointer. It's tipped out by Khan, and Khan will miss the short jumper.
Jabari Curry, his first personal foul.
Jabari Curry picks up the foul, his first. Good look at Burns on the bench. Dre with back-to-back 32-point games. Had a little bit of a slump when he injured his right shoulder. When they played Northwestern, he was only 1 of 6 from the floor, but he got the winner. The one that he hit was the one that
That's
counted.
all that counts.
The money guys do that.
That's all that counts.
Yep.
Wanted to make up for that miss in the NIT last year against Air Force. So he loves the ball in his hands, late game situations, has a lot of confidence.
Yeah, Coach Bisdelic and Air Force shocked DePaul last year up in Colorado Springs in that quarterfinal game of the NIT. But you're right. DePaul had it in their hands and in Burns' hands particularly, an opportunity to win, and he couldn't convert it. Coswell against Kahn, and the ball tipped away by Chalmers, almost stolen. No-look pass and the block by Kahn, but I think Kahn just picked up foul number 2.
Foul on Sasha Kahn. That's his second personal foul. Team foul number 7.
Well, I mean, look in this situation, great penetration by DePaul, Cliff Klinksdale, and you look at Sasha Kahn, and this is a foul that he didn't need to have, didn't need to commit. He's 6'10", 6'11". Will Walker's going into the lane. All you have to do is jump straight up, put your hands up, and make him make a tough shot. Now he puts himself into foul trouble, and those are the type of things that Coach Self is trying to get his senior to understand. They need him on the floor being able to produce.
Well, those 2 quick fouls, he's going to leave him in the ballgame, but as we said, Sasha didn't start today. A reward for Darnell Jackson, who has really come on, and he got 4 early points, did Jackson, and also 4 early rebounds.
You see, once again, DePaul playing in the zone. They want Kansas to shoot from the outside. Look for Kansas to try to throw the ball down low, get the ball into the middle, and try to penetrate this zone.
Chalmers back out on the perimeter. Shot clock is now at 8. And here's Kahn. You see a triple team on him, and he kisses it high off the glass.
Yeah, beautiful move. It's a nice job sealing his defender, strong with the basketball. And he has an outstanding right-hand jump hook. He can dominate down low in the paint.
4 points for him. That's an air ball. Wow. Dar Tucker, freshman out of Detroit, getting to hear the business here at Paul Allen Fieldhouse.
Foul called on number 30, Will Walker.
This is something they've been working with Sasha Kahn, holding his man. Look at the great position, holding him off. DePaul trying to double team. He turns away from the double team, right-hand jump hook, and that's going to please Coach Bill Self. They want his big guys to be more aggressive. That's going to open up things for their perimeter players.
Rush, a little too hard. Tip back out, and it goes right back to Chalmers of KU. Skip pass to Rush.
I tell you, you can really see he's starting to get his confidence of recovering from ACL tear. Missed the beginning of the season, but Chalmers, again, another seal out in transition.
Missed the follow by Robinson. So that's 4 fast break points out of the 23 for KU, and they are standing and cheering here at Allen Fieldhouse. So we're going to hold it right here. And you could see the joy for Russell Robinson, who came up and got the follow on the Chalmers miss.
Well, I mean, this is what Kansas, in terms of getting going defensively, they like to get into passing lanes, like to get steals, get into the open court. You see Mario Chalmers, that's his probably 3rd steal today, misses the layup, but Russell Robinson going high trying to get the dunk. Maybe that's why he's laughing. No one's seen him touch the rim yet.
This is an 11-1 run in the last 3 minutes and 36 seconds. Yeah, Russell out of Rice High School in New York City.
Well, he's an outstanding defensive player. I mean, the job that he did last Sunday against O.J. Mayo, a talented freshman, held him a 6 of 21 from the field, 19 points, kept him out on the perimeter. He was the key that really helped them win a great game on the road against USC.
It was like they ordered a cheeseburger, but they said, hold the mayo.
He held it.
Yes, he did. 23-14, Jayhawks. Lost the ball. It's going to be Chalmers again. And in transition, 3-on-2 on the break. This is one of the things that Jerry Wainwright, we heard him last night at practice, talk about the way KU will come at you, cutting off the passing lanes and constantly cutting in front of the basketball.
One of the things he kept talking about is you have to come towards the basketball. Yes. You have to take care of it. This is something that this young team has been dealing with at the beginning of the season. You know Kansas likes to get in the passing lanes. They turn it up defensively, and that's the result why they're on this big run right now.
When it's going tough, it's going tough. Dre Burns with a walk right there, and he's going to go to the bench as Bazookas will check in. And we'll have more from Lawrence in just a moment. 11-point lead by the Jayhawks.
Now through Sunday, let a Gordon's Jewelry Advisor help you save up to an extra 15% on the gifts you want now. You'll find savings throughout the store. Find the gifts you'll celebrate forever at Gordon's.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Cars.com. Find the right car for you. Cars.com.
So we are back. It's a 25-14 lead. Ron Franklin along with Hubert Davis. And what is now a capacity crowd as we look at Danny Manning, now an assistant coach. He was head of player development, but
he wasn't able to really work out with the players. Now being an assistant coach, he can get on the court, and you can see the dividends that are paying with these big guys. Darnell Jackson having his best year. Sasha Khan being effective here tonight. Darrell Arthur, athletic big guy, learning more about footwork. So
Rush for three. Hubert, let me ask you this. I mean, here's a guy in Danny Manning that, not only went on and played in the pros, but won a national championship as a collegian. As Russell Robinson comes up with a steal, and Stewart slams it home. So we're going to step aside for 30 seconds. 30 for Kansas, 14 for DePaul, 6:07 left.
You've earned this. Never fled from Spalding, true to the game.
Welcome back to Lawrence, Kansas. Really good to have Hubert Davis sitting alongside today. Fran is up in the studio where you normally are.
I know, we switched spots.
This has got to be a lot more fun, huh?
I'd rather be here with you.
I'll tell you what, it's good to have you in this part of the world because I know you grew up All-American at North Carolina and played a long time in the pros. But it is fun to come to see the different environments. I know you took your headsets off to listen to Rock Chalk Jayhawk to start this ball game.
Yeah, it's terrific. The fan base here had an opportunity to come to a game last year when they played the Texas A&M. Unfortunately, they lost, but the atmosphere against that game with AC Law is absolutely terrific.
Well, this field house is, as a lot of people say, it's haunted to an extent. I mean, there are some names hanging from the rafters here, and of course that sign to the north end that says "Beware of the Fog," meaning Fog Island Fieldhouse. And you can never tear this place down. It's a museum. Blocked by Russell Robinson. And Russell, I'm telling you,
he's smiling. You're seeing a couple things that you normally don't see from Russell Robinson. He got a dunk earlier in the game, and now he comes over help side, and Braylon Burns looks like he has an uncontested post-up jump shot, and Russell Robinson comes over there and says, "Get that out of here."
I'll tell you what, you remember, I'm sure, days like that when you played college basketball, and some days when everything just starts to click.
Exactly.
Now, the first 8 minutes of this ball game, though,
it didn't click.
Bill Self is going to tell you, it really didn't click, did it?
Yeah, when you look at Kansas now, they're getting out in transition, getting steals, knocking down perimeter jump shots at the beginning of the game. They started off with 2 straight turnovers, so they've really picked it up on the defensive end. It's really made them better efficiently on the offensive end.
Rush with the jumper off the mark. It's going to be taken down by Cajwal and knocked out of bounds off his leg. Yeah, in that first 8 minutes, KU had 7 turnovers, which is really an inauspicious beginning for anybody. But Darnell Jackson brought a little offense early. Then Rush got involved. Chalmers with steals left and right. And all of a sudden, the magic is working, which it did not at the very beginning.
Yeah, but it's hard to find better defensive guards than what you have at Kansas. Russell Robinson, we already talked about the job he did on O.J. Mayo, Mario Chalmers, Roderick Stewart. Talk about his improvement. He didn't even average a point last year. He's averaging 7 this year. So him and Darnell Jackson, 2 guys that have improved over the summer and making this team one of the better teams in the country.
And you know, you have to wonder. Now, Sharon Collins has already played a couple of minutes in this ball game today. But you have to wonder, now when he comes back, that means that Stewart's playing time.
His minutes are going to go down.
Yep, they're going to go down. Shot is blocked, and again they're going to call a jump ball. Possession error says it'll stay with the Jayhawks, though.
And now, Ron, you have that experience coming off the bench. And when you get into Big 12 play, we talked yesterday about how well Texas is playing. Texas A&M, you're going to need guys coming off the bench that know how to play. Roderick Stewart is that guy.
And a standing ovation for Russell Robinson, and I'm glad you were just talking about him, because defensively, he has really raised it up a notch. And this is an 18-1 run by the Jayhawks right now.
Well, it's hard for a point guard to get into their offense, make easy passes on the perimeter when you got guys like Chalmers and Russell Robinson in the passing lanes. They're the start of this defense, and they've been terrific all year.
Posich will pick up the foul.
Foul number 31, Matija Posich. His first personal foul.
First personal foul on him, and the 16th foul on DePaul. Good look at Russell right there. But I have to say, when Jay Billis and I were out here doing the Arizona game, Russell didn't score until very late in that ball game. And I felt as though after having watched him for a long time, as the left-handed shot goes, I thought his confidence was lower than I had seen it in a while. And it's good to see what's happened today to him.
Well, he shot the ball well in practice yesterday, and his value is on the defensive end, taking care of the basketball, distributing. You see Kansas really getting it going offensively. He can knock down that perimeter jump shot, but he still is confident.
Whoa. Collins had to all of a sudden become about 6'8" as Stewart drives the basket, scores, and he'll go to the line for a couple. So let's take a timeout. 32-14. Kansas by 18 points.
This holiday season, leave the perfect hint for your wish list. Dreams come true during the Lincoln Wish List event, featuring the Lincoln Navigator with the season's hottest new must-haves, like a reverse camera system and the first-in-class fold-flat power third-row seat. Find the ultimate holiday gift during the Lincoln Wish List event.
Darian Oka, Fran Fraschilla, Stephen Bardo in studio. Coming up on the UPS halftime report. Arizona, big road win at Illinois, but not without a little controversy.
Yeah, but I still think a great win on the road for a team that's developing some mental toughness, the Wildcats.
And a tough loss for an Illinois team that really needed this victory.
Also, Michigan feeling a little bit blue, as in Duke Blue Devil blue. Highlights of that coming up at the half. UPS halftime report. Guys?
Okay, gentlemen, thanks very much. You know, Arizona could have another win. KU had to go to overtime in this building. Hey, and speaking of beware the fog, Mark Mangino, the head football coach here, the coach of the year, only had 1 loss, and they're headed to the Orange Bowl. First time in the history of this school to go to a BCS Bowl event. And he is gutsy enough to sit in the student section. But they love him now, I'm telling you.
Well, he's done a terrific job. I mean, when you think about Kansas, you think about basketball, but he's done an outstanding job of changing. This is now maybe a football school.
Yeah, no, it'll always be a basketball. But you know what? Lou Perkins came down here from UConn, and Lou did exactly the same thing when he was up with the Huskies. They were an outstairs Lou right there.
And Butch Davis in North Carolina trying to do the same thing.
Exactly. And you proved the point. A lot of schools are doing that. They're proving you can be both. But Lou did a great job of it at UConn. They got a beautiful new stadium up there, and they had an outstanding year in football as well. 34-14. Boy, DePaul has not scored many points in the last 10 minutes. About to go into 3 minutes to play, trying to draw the foul, and he does on Brandon Rush. And I'm not so sure that Dre Burns didn't hurt himself a little bit when he drew the foul.
Well, I tell you, it's tough to score when you have 13 turnovers in the first half, only 2 assists. Your leading scorer, Jalen Burns, goes to the free throw line. Remember, he had back-to-back 32-point games. He doesn't have a point here in the first half, so it's going to be tough for them offensively. They have to get him going to have a chance here.
You have to wonder. You know, remember I talked about the shoulder that he tweaked against Northwestern, and it looks like it may be the same injury. They only have 1 point in the last 7 minutes and 50 seconds.
They haven't been able to get into their offense. Russell Robinson, Mario Chalmers, been deflections, getting into the passing lanes, really stepped it up defensively in the second part of the first half. And we talked about this earlier. The guy that can really change this game is on the bench for DePaul. Wesley Green doesn't average a lot of points, but he has so much skill in terms of posting up, shooting threes, outstanding passer.
Missed them both. Well, and for those who might have missed the story, he was late for the bus last night as they were coming over for a shoot-around on Friday evening. And the coach said, well, if you're no more focused than that, then you're not going to play tomorrow. So he suspended him for today's game. You see him sitting right there behind Mario Chalmers.
He has so much potential. We talked to shoot-around yesterday. Kind of reminds us of like an Oliver Miller. Had so many skills on both ends of the floor, but hasn't been able to put it together in his 4-year career. Struggled with weight gain, showing up late to practice, and from your senior leader, that's something that you don't want to have, especially with this young team.
Well, he lost 33 pounds in the offseason, but he also has had just a multitude of injuries since he has been at DePaul. Shot clock is down to 5. Shamon Collins just realized it, dished it off, and an offensive foul is called on him.
Yeah, there's an offensive foul on Sharon Collins, but that is the reason that makes Kansas a better offensive team. You see how easily he got into the lane, ball handling skills, his ability to create, changes the whole complexion offensively for the Kansas Jayhawks.
Well, Bill Self obviously loves this entire basketball team, but he's got to feel a lot more comfort when he's looking out there seeing number 4 on the floor.
He does. I mean, you know, this is a guy in a half-court set that can get easy shots for their post players and perimeter players like Russell Robinson and Mario Chalmers. And actually, Chalmers has done a nice job in his absence, really penetrating in the lane and taking care of the basketball.
Koshwal. Well, tonight on ESPN, college football's heroes of the past welcome a new member to their exclusive club. One player will transcend greatness and become a legend. The Heisman Trophy presentation presented by Nissan at ESPN tonight, 8 Eastern. Will it be Tebow? Will it be Daniel of Missouri, Colt Brennan of Hawaii, or Darren McFadden of Arkansas? All 4 of those young men, very deserving candidates. Ball tipped around in the middle, and Rush will take it down. Boy, what a nice, light, floating touch.
It's going to be tough for DePaul to get back into this game. There's a nice dribble penetration by Jabari Curry. On the offensive end, you're turning the ball over. On the defensive end, you're allowing second chance points and points in the paint.
At the line for DePaul is Jabari Curry.
There he is on the bench. We were talking about that shoulder. Dre Burns with a huge grimace after he put on a ball fake and came down on Rush trying to draw the foul, which he did, but he may have drawn more than he really wanted. Here's a replay of what I'm talking about.
He's going on a one-on-one situation against one of the most versatile defenders in Brandon Rush in the country, and he came down on his shoulder, and he's on the bench right now. They desperately need him offensively out there on the court. And we talk about the learning curve for DePaul, a young team playing here at Kansas, undefeated. Their next game, Vanderbilt, undefeated in the SEC. Then they play Clemson, who is undefeated in the ACC as well.
Fire the scheduler.
Well, they thought Wilson Chandler was going to be there.
Yeah, you're right. A little hop step there, and Rush misses, though, with the left hand. The interesting thing, though, is to watch Rush, and he does not seem encumbered by that ACL injury that he had to his right knee.
No, he continues to get better. The coaches talked about it at practice yesterday, that now he's starting to get rebounds in traffic, starting to finish by dunking the basketball. So this is a guy at 6'6", can shoot the ball, outstanding defender. Just a terrific player.
So we are going to stay right here since it's a short timeout. Walker on that last basket, and 36-17 with 91 seconds left to play in this first half. So I think the head coach will give an evaluation at halftime. The first 8 minutes, D-.
That is what he's going to show him. He's not going to show him the last.
Right. But then in the next 12 minutes, he's going to say maybe an A+ if they continue to go at this rate right here.
Yeah, they're doing a terrific job defensively. His guards really stepped up, getting in the passing lane. Mario Chalmers has been absolutely terrific, getting out in the open court, passing the basketball. They haven't had to shoot from the outside. They've thrown the ball down low on the post and gotten so many points in the paint. So in the first half, they look like they're in good shape.
We talked about Danny Manning and his addition to the staff as Robinson scores it, but it's no basket. He was fouled on the floor. Points in the paint are huge for KU here in this first half.
We talked about Danny Manning. What a great example to have. He played at Kansas, won a national championship. Everybody on this team wants to win a national championship. He's done that, and then he played 16 years in the NBA. You know, a number of these guys have aspirations of playing at the next level. So having a guy like that every day at practice is a huge benefit for these Kansas players.
You know, one thing about him I've always wondered, because he was such a great college player, and then 3 knee surgeries after he got in the pros. I'm not sure for that entire length of time that people really got to appreciate the real Danny Manning because of the fact, now he had become technically very sound, because he even admits that athletically he was hampered with the 3 knee surgeries.
And that's something that he's talking to Brandon Rush about, and also Darrell Arthurs. A lot of these kids come into college so athletically, they don't really know about footwork, the fundamentals. And you have a guy that went through 3 knee surgeries. Not only could he get to the rim, not only could he shoot, but he knew about technique, holding guys off, proper way to pass the basketball, rebounding. It's just been a huge benefit for the injured players coming back, and also the other players.
Well, in fact, here in just a second, we're going to go back to 1988 and have you revisit what is now termed here in this arena, in this part of the world, as Danny and the Miracles. Because what they did there is that championship was a banner. It was. Oklahoma had just really wiped them out a couple of times earlier in the year, but this is April the 4th, 1988. They were a 6 seed. Manning scores 31 points, including 4 clutch free throws. He had 18 rebounds. Kansas won at 83-79, but I remember doing radio on this ball game, and Hubert, they were tied at halftime at 50 apiece. And there were people saying at halftime, this may be the best national championship game that they had ever seen.
Well, he could take over. He's absolutely terrific. And I had an opportunity to play with him at the Detroit Pistons. So it was in the latter part of his career. But his preparation before the games, the way he practiced, attention to detail, you can see why he's one of the greatest players, the greatest player here at Kansas, one of the better players in the NBA.
Plenty of time on the shot clock. Oh, good. Wow. No-look pass. Chalmers, I mean, whipped it. That was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
It was so fast that Cole Aldridge, the freshman, lost his shoe, threw it to Coach Self on the sideline. He's only got 1 shoe out there. And DePaul needs to get the ball to post this down low in the paint.
Oh, my. Bill Self looked up and said, what is this? What's coming at me? 1 second difference between shot clock and game clock. Three-pointer. Wow. And then the horn sounds. So only 2 field goals in the last 11 minutes and 12 seconds of the half. 39-22 KU at halftime. Now let's join Dari Noka, Fran Fraschilla, and Stephen Bardo in the UPS halftime report. Gentlemen.
All right, guys, good to have you with us here in our college basketball studios for the UPS halftime report. Dari, Fran, and Steven, and heard Hubert earlier talking about how you let him hit the road. You're in here with us. Hey, we're glad to have you with us. But he's watching some Kansas.
Yeah, just tell Hubert not to eat all the ice cream cake in the back of the press room there, because he'll gain about 5 pounds.
Is that what he likes, huh?
Yeah.
That's what we get him on his birthday. 39-22, Kansas absolutely rocking right now.
Great guard play, and you saw Sharon Collins come back for just a little bit today. But when you talk about Brandon Rush, Chalmers, Stewart now playing in a rotation, Russell Robinson, deep backcourt, and that really helps.
Well, their backcourt really wore down the front court of DePaul. And when you look at Draylon Burns coming off consecutive 32-point performances and almost going a donut in the first half, that's really going to hurt a DePaul team that had to be hitting on all cylinders this afternoon.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road back, I think, for DePaul. So Hubert's going to earn his money without question in the second half. Maybe couldn't get a better way to start the day of college basketball on ESPN than Illinois and Arizona. It went to overtime, even had a little controversy. We'll revisit that one when we come back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Mercury and your local Lincoln Mercury dealers.
This holiday season, leave the perfect hint for your wish list. Dreams come true during the Lincoln Wish List event. Featuring the Lincoln MKC with J.D. Power Associates' highest ranking in initial quality and the season's hottest new must-have, exclusive sync from Microsoft. Open one up for yourself at this great holiday rate. Find the ultimate holiday gift during the Lincoln Wish List event.
You know, HD TV and TiVo HD just belong together, like me and Duke. I mean, why get a premium HD TV and a generic DVR? My TiVo searches for HD by show, actor, team, and downloads thousands of movies right to my TV. And Duke, he gets me other things.
Oh, he's so cute.
Good boy, Duke.
New TiVo Ho Ho HD. Perfect for the holidays.
Jason Bourne is alive and is at large in New York City.
Here's your ultimatum. Bring Bourne home.
This is where it ends.
The Bourne Ultimatum. Own it Tuesday.
Bowl Mania. Get that breakdown on the bowl game. These are the games everybody remembers. Our guys will dissect all 32 games from the locks to the toss-ups.
They are rolling over people right now.
Bowl Mania. Tonight at 9 Eastern on ESPN.
This is the UPS Halftime Report.
What a game to start our coverage of college basketball on ESPN. Arizona in Chicago to face Illinois. Of course, Michael Jordan's son, Jeff, plays for the Illini. Second half, Illinois up 10. Chester Frazier, the alley-oop to Mike Davis. Illini up 12.
Very promising freshman for the Illini from Virginia.
Arizona battles back down 7. Nick Wise, tough shot. Wildcats cut the lead to 5, and now it's a 3-point game until Trent Meacham hits a huge three-pointer.
Meacham kept him in the game down the stretch.
Arizona down 1. A minute to go. Their first lead of the game comes when Jordan Hill finds himself wide open and hits.
Mental toughness for Zona right now. That's the key.
Then Calvin Brock, the big jumper. Illinois goes up 1. 12 seconds to go. Arizona down 2. Wise misses. Hill gets the rebound. Hill scores. Jordan Hill had 23. Game tied at 61. Closing seconds. Frazier, the ball stripped by Wise. Little controversy ensues. You see him look like he signals for timeout. We'll get back to that in a moment, but big play there.
Yes, it was, but this was a dynamite play by the freshman Bayless. Gets into the traffic, finishes it off.
And in the end, 78-72, Arizona wins. They go to Chicago. We know Lute Olson's not going to coach this team the rest of the season. You talk about the toughness Kevin O'Neal brings.
Kevin O'Neal brings it. That's what he's known for, the trademark intensity. And Lute Olson, when I talked to him this summer, was ecstatic to have Kevin O'Neal back for this purpose, Stephen Bardo. This team did not play great today, but they played with great mental toughness, especially defensively late in that game.
And we've been saying it all year. Thus far, Arizona was was soft the last 2 years. Kevin O'Neal, known as a defensive specialist, and heck, he's the highest paid assistant in the country, $375,000. So he's earning his check right now.
Now, we talked about the controversy. Arizona won this thing in overtime, but they may be lucky to have had that opportunity because this play, Nick-wise, they have no timeouts left. Certainly looks like he calls for
Yes, and the rule states if a player makes verbal or visual contact with the official and has possession of the ball, but the referee knows that Arizona is out of timeouts, in my mind, this is a good piece of officiating because there wasn't a definitive. The fingertips touched, but then he pulled his hands off the basketball and saying, I don't want that timeout.
Fran, he called a timeout. He called a timeout, and the referee felt sorry for the young man. Knew that Arizona didn't have enough time, didn't have any timeouts left, but that young man did make the timeout.
But I still think it was a good piece of officiating to let that go.
Young man, young sophomore, off the hook. Congratulations, and his team gets a win. All right, how about Duke rolling right along? Michigan comes in struggling 3-5 on the season. Coach K's team looking awfully good. Greg Paulus to Taylor King for 3.
Taylor King comes in as one of the top three-point shooters in the ACC, and not as well known a freshman as some of the other great players around the country.
Duke with 6 threes in the first half. That's Gerald Henderson, 3 more.
Will end up being the team MVP this year. Gerald Henderson having a coming-out party.
John Shire to Nolan Smith. Duke goes up 11, and then DeMarcus Nelson to Smith for the big dunk. 11 first-half points for Nolan Smith. And then, looking the 3 balls, DeMarcus Nelson.
Well, these guys are playing as well as any Duke team has played in the last 3 seasons. They are off to an incredible start down in Durham.
Nelson just 1 of 7 from the floor. That was the one as Duke is rolling. How about Louisville at home against Dayton? Flyers come in 6-1. Louisville 5-1. Just the 2-point loss to Brigham Young. Brian Roberts for 3. Dayton up 10.
Brian Roberts, a senior, one of the least known good players in the country.
And then it's more Roberts. It's the little runner in the lane.
I like that little floater against the D going upstream against the Cardinals.
Flyers go up by 12, and then Chris Wright inside. He's blocked once, but look at him get it back, staying off, and then the little hook shot.
He's only a freshman. He's averaging about 15 and 8 so far for Brian Gregory.
Dayton up by 10. How about this game? ESPN 2, 6 o'clock Eastern. A big rivalry game on the court. Marquette visiting Wisconsin. Oh, my. Marquette flies up and down the floor 20 or 80 points a game, while Wisconsin uses the size and defense, holding their opponents to just 50 points per game.
This is all about penetration, guard penetration. Talked to Tom Creed earlier in the week, and if guards from Marquette can get into the lane, draw those big guys to them, then dish off, they've got a chance, but it's a tough place to win.
Well, and then on the other side, you look at Wisconsin. Here's Trayvon Hughes, one of the few guards in the country that can keep up with that outstanding trio from Marquette. Plus, Brian Butch inside at 6'11" will be a tough, formidable matchup for Ousmane Barrow and the like from Marquette inside.
I agree with you, Stephen. Rebounding for Marquette is going to be the key to this game if they're to win in a very tough Kohl Center.
Certainly undersized against Wisconsin. So that one coming up ESPN 2, 6 o'clock Eastern time. Meanwhile, second half coming up from Allen Fieldhouse is Kansas getting a big game from virtually everybody, including Brandon Rush. They lead DePaul by 17.
This halftime report is delivered by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
All right, delivery intercept. Well, say you've shipped your new gizmos to all your best customers, and they're just about to arrive when Bob comes in and says, "Stop the gizmos, there's a problem with the gizmos." Well, if you shipped with UPS, you'd have the control to stop those gizmos and bring them right back. It's not just delivery, it's UPS Delivery Intercept. Whew, that was close.
This halftime report is delivered by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Eight o'clock Eastern on ESPN. The Heisman Trophy presentation. Here are your 4 finalists. Hawaii quarterback Colt Brennan has 46 total touchdowns. Chase Daniel of Missouri led the Tigers to a 2-loss season in the Big 12 championship game. Darren McFadden, second place in the Heisman Trophy voting a year ago. He's back, one of the favorites, along with Florida sophomore quarterback Tim Tebow. 51 total touchdowns as he tries to become the first sophomore ever to win the Heisman Trophy. Coming up, though, the second half from Lawrence, Kansas. The steal from Mario Chalmers. Russell Robinson finishes Kansas up 17 with a 25-9 run to end the half.
Now through Sunday, let a Gordon's Jewelry Advisor help you save up to an extra 15% on the gifts you want now. You'll find savings throughout the store. Find the gifts you'll celebrate forever at Gordon's.
To Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas. It's the Big 12 against the Big East, presented by Cars.com. The DePaul Blue Demons against the third-ranked Kansas Jayhawks. Ron Franklin along with Hubert Davis. And Hubert, I have to say that Jerry Wainwright will be the first one to say to us that first half defensively by KU may be as good as he's had thrown against his team, maybe ever.
I agree with you. When you look at Kansas, they're an outstanding defensive team, and it all starts with the guards. I mean, Russell Robinson has been terrific. Mario Chalmers getting into the passing lanes, and that is what turned up Kansas offensively. You can look at the defensive pressure, getting in the passing lanes. Russell Robinson is terrific. Look at the ball pressure, getting a turnover against Will Walker and having Roger Stewart finish with the dunk. Here's on the help side. Looks like Dre Burns, the leading scorer for DePaul, come over and he blocks it, and then he gets a dunk. It's an offensive rebound dunk. You can see him smiling. So the senior Russell Robinson is doing everything on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, that's what will be talked about more than anything. Russell, in fact, will, although he's a quiet person.
It wasn't a powerful dunk.
Don't kill him.
But it was one.
Well, that's a good start for DePaul here, who was devoid of scoring for just over 11 minutes. They had 4 points back in the first half. Arthur.
Okay, for DePaul offensively to have a chance, they've got to get their leading scorer, Dre Burns, started setting some pin down plays, some screens. He had back-to-back 32-point games, 0 points here in this game.
And as you remarked to me at halftime, I said, well, they have to do, and he said, well, when your leading scorer has 0 sitting up there at the end of the first 20 minutes, that's a little tough.
Three-point basket good for Dar Tucker.
Dar Tucker with a three-pointer now, and all of a sudden it's a 41-28 ball game, and at the other end, Mr. Chalmers.
And that's something you can't do if you're a young team. You're 2 of 2 starting in the second half, and then off a made basket, you have a wide-open three-pointer by Mario Chalmers, not getting back in defensive transition. So in order to get back into this game, you have to step it up on both ends.
Being guarded by Russell Robinson, who you saw in the video that Hubert talked about, had just totally an outstanding defensive first half as, Klinsky with a very bad air ball.
Wow.
Nice dish back to Burns. And that's what I was talking about, the passing of the big men. Arthur, very unselfish.
But they're running the floor. You see Darrell Arthur, their 5 guy, leading the break, getting the pass, with a beautiful move. Getting a great pass to Brandon Rush in transition. Look at the great, and he started it off defensively, got the block, and look at him run the floor. Russell Robinson gives him the ball inside the middle, and then Brandon Rush running the floor, and that's also showing that Brandon Rush getting out in transition is starting to feel 100%.
Jabari Curry, number 1, junior out of Detroit. You're going to have him playing off the ball more than he has in the past. 2-year starter at point, though. Left-handed with a three-pointer on the way, not there. Rebound inside. Coswell has it blocked, and he was fouled. College basketball on ESPN2 continues tonight as Dominic James and Marquette Golden Eagles take on the Wisconsin Badgers. College basketball on ESPN2 tonight at 6 Eastern Time.
At the line,
Well, Darnell Jackson with his third foul, and it looks as though Sasha Khan off the bench. He is going to come replace him. Chalmers walked down toward the bench. I'm not so sure that he didn't get a head and the lips as he was trying to block that shot just a moment ago.
See a talented freshman, Matt Koshwall, at the line. He's one of 5 international players that Coach Wainwright has on his basketball team, and it looks like college basketball is going in that direction. I spent some time earlier in the year with Coach Bob McKillop. He has 6 international players. John Calipari of Memphis spent some time over the summer over in China developing relationships, and Vanderbilt's got an outstanding center, A.J. Ogilvy from Australia, so it looks like they're doing a lot of recruiting not only in the States but overseas as well.
McKillop has done a great job at Davidson, probably one of the most unnoticed and unappreciated coaches throughout America. Arthur, and again, the big men making passes. And even Bill Self is now laughing and smiling, yeah.
Well, that's something that they worked on in practice yesterday, playing out of the double team, and they have their big guy on the opposite side flash. They throw the ball down on the post to Sasha Khan, instant double team. Look who goes underneath the basket. Darrell Arthur, good hands, good finish, has an opportunity to get a three-point play.
Eldar Tucker picks up his second foul. First team foul here in the second half.
We talked about Coach Bob McKillop and Davidson. They've got a big game today against UCLA out in Anaheim. It's a team that played well against North Carolina and Duke, weren't able to get the win. They're going to need a nice non-conference win, so they don't put a lot of pressure on them winning that Southern Conference.
One of the great scenes I remember when his son, his senior year, a couple of years ago, we were up here in the Southern Conference Championship, and that was a very talented Davidson team, and they won the championship. And when father and son were able to hug at the end of the ball game, it was really a touching moment.
Yeah. Well, he's got his younger son now as a freshman on the team right now. They've got an outstanding, one of the best 2 guards in the country, and Stephen Curry, the son of longtime 16-year NBA career Dale Curry.
Yep. Good bloodlines there. Stepped on the inline did Dre Burns. So 49-31. Jerry Wainwright. Jerry really can be a funny guy. And he came over last night before they started their shoot around. And of course the subject was all the new faces. And you know, it was taking everybody a while to get to know each other without name tags.
Yeah, but he's a terrific coach. I loved watching him practice because he was teaching these kids proper mechanics, footwork, passing the basketball, good rotation on their shot. And he was the head coach of the under-19 league that won a silver medal over in Serbia this summer, having guys on the league as they go out and transition. Wow! Okay.
In fact, he had Arthur on that team, Darrell Arthur, and
got injured.
Yeah,
ended up not playing with the team, and he talked about they had a lack of size against a lot of big players overseas, but they had Darrell Arthur on there, Stephen Curry, Raymar Morgan of Michigan State, and here you see Sasha Khan. These guys have done a terrific job running the break, really getting out in transition. That puts a lot of pressure on the opposing power forward and centers. They can run like that. I don't know how many centers can run with these guys in transition. It's going to be a huge bonus for them in Big 12 season.
It goes back to the example that you made back in the first half, the huge help that Danny Manning has been as far as helping coach and teach these kids.
Timeout on the floor.
So we'll take a timeout. 53-33, 20-point game, and Sasha Khan, who had a slow start, brings her home right there. We'll be right back.
It's not just a game, got so much more to gain. Push it, push it, push it, give it all or nothing, you know.
You may not realize it, but there's a source of renewable energy right in your neighborhood, and you're helping to power it. Today, waste management is using the resources at our disposal to create energy from waste. Enough green energy to power over 1 million homes. From everyday collection to environmental protection, think green, think waste management.
340.
What's Iowa and Iowa State looking like?
That is Nick Hill, Southern Illinois quarterback, coming up after Kansas DePaul, their semifinal football championship subdivision, Delaware and Southern Illinois. That's coming up next, guys.
Okay. Thanks very much. Speaking of football, very special guest has joined us here at courtside. Coach of the Year to start with. Only lost one football game, Mark Mangino. It is really good to see you. Let me say officially, from all of us at ESPN, congratulations. What a totally outstanding year.
Well, thank you, Ron. I appreciate it, and appreciate ESPN and Home Depot picking me as their Coach of the Year. There's a lot of deserving coaches, and I'm just very fortunate to be selected.
You know, our crew had the good fortune of doing you guys a couple of times, once on the road at Colorado, that we came here to do your game against Nebraska. And the thing that impressed me, and Bill Young said it, your defensive coordinator, probably better than anybody, and it's not his first rodeo.
No.
He said this team was more fun than any football team he had ever been around, and that was one of the keys for you guys being successful.
I think it was. We have had a great group of kids to work with, kids with character, kids with good values, understand the value of hard work, discipline, teamwork. Really a great bunch. It's one of the most enjoyable bunch of kids I've been around.
Mark, let me ask you this. Bill Self, when we came here to do the home game, we got him on to do the starting lineups for your football team. And Billy was as excited about your success as he is about his own success.
Yeah, Coach Self and his staff, his players, they've been great. I mean, they're the biggest fans of football on campus. You know, Bill doesn't go around saying this, but one time he told me, he said, you know, he said, I'm really a football coach on the hardwood. and I believe him.
All right, let me ask you about your opponent. You're going to the Orange Bowl. First time in the history of this school to get a BCS Bowl game. Frank Beamer, you know the name. Bud Foster is defensive coordinator. Always solid. That'll be a true representation as far as putting your team to a test.
No question. They are a very fine team. Coach Beamer's just done a fantastic job there. Bud Foster, one of the top defensive coordinators in America. We've got a lot of respect for them. They play hard. They're talented. They play great defense, great special teams, opportunistic on offense. You know, Virginia Tech could make a case why they should have been considered for the BCS National Championship. So we know we're playing a very good football team, and we'll be ready for the challenge.
A couple of more questions, and I'll let you go. An evaluation on the first part of this ball game by the Jayhawks. I know you're a basketball fan as well.
Well, I am. I don't know all the inner workings and things like that, but I'll tell you this. Our kids play hard. They play fast. They're tough, play with a lot of tempo. A lot like their coach, you know, tough, aggressive, go get them.
Okay, one last question, and I will let you go. How much easier has it been to go either by phone or go to kids and parents and introduce KU football to them, not basketball, and get good reception?
Well, there's no question that it's opened a lot of doors. Ron, any coach will tell you it never gets easier. But sometimes as you win and get better, more opportunities come to you. And we're getting a chance to get our foot in the door with some kids that maybe in September were kind of ho-hum about our program. Now they want to visit. They want to talk to us. They're interested in KU. So an 11-1 season has definitely helped recruiting.
And I know also the new facility that's being built over next to the stadium, huge offices, workout space and everything. You deserve it very much, and congratulations. Thanks for coming on with us. Mark Mangino.
It's always a pleasure, Ron. Good to see you.
Great seeing you. 60-36. The Jayhawks just continue to expand the lead.
Checking in for the Jayhawks.
What a guy we're putting up there right there, Todd Reesing, almost 63% passing completion. 32-59 as far as yards, 32 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. One of the reasons that they enjoyed the success that they did, as you watch Mark heading away from the table here. Todd Reesing, another one, the Northern Division.
How come he's not in the Heisman watch? Add one more person, send him to New York.
You know, it was interesting. So many, Daniel and also Reesing. These guys are young Texas quarterbacks from the state of Texas who have come up here to play. Oh, that's right. I understand. Look at this. Mark Mangino made a friend down in Miami. Obi. That's the official mascot of the Orange Bowl. And I mean sincerely, we do appreciate Mark taking time to come in and visit with us. And I wasn't joking. He's sitting right in the student section to the south end. And most coaches don't have the fortitude to do that, but he is really, really wildly popular on this campus.
Well, it's neat how both coaches support each other.
Yes.
At North Carolina, Coach Roy Williams goes to all the games, football games, women's basketball games, so it's nice to see everybody on the same page.
And athletic director Lou Perkins. He is the guy who is the papa of this proud family, if you will.
He's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, he should be. He should be. Been an outstanding year for Kansas athletics. Checking back into the ball game is number 13, Matt Koshwal, freshman out of Chicago. And the only way to put it is Koshwal a huge upside. This kid could wind up really being a star.
Well, he's very athletic. He's a guy that can score down low on the post. He can put the ball on the floor offensively. You see Jalen Birds finally get a basket and lead scorer for DePaul, trying to get it going here in the second half. And defensively, he can block shots. He can rebound the basketball and advance it. He doesn't have to outlet it to a point guard. So a beautiful pass by Darnell Jackson.
Again, big man to big man. They're putting on a show.
I think they're the best in the country in terms of high-low action. They really like to feed the post from their opposite big man. And then Darnell Jackson outside the three-point line throwing a lob to Sasha Khan. Beautiful play for Kansas.
Well, it looks like that foul is going to be on Karan Clark. Offensive foul, and we'll take a timeout. And as we look up the scoreboard, it is now KU 63 and DePaul 41. 11:44 left in our ball game.
Have you ever led an expedition? Have you ever been honored by the Louvre? Have you ever protected nobility? Have you ever seen the curvature of the earth? Range Rover, designed for the extraordinary.
What's that, Mommy?
This is called a wishbone. Two people each make a wish, and the one who gets the bigger half gets their
wish.
Wow, it worked.
This holiday, what do you give to the woman who's your every wish come true? A diamond circle necklace from Kay Jewelers, and you can be assured of two things. First, that every diamond is hand-selected to match beautifully, and second, she'll absolutely love it.
What if you had one, Daddy?
Well, I kind of think I did.
Every kiss begins with K.
Tonight, one college football player will transcend greatness and become a legend. The Heisman Trophy presentation presented by Nissan. Tonight at 8 on ESPN, followed by Bowl Mania.
And we are back at our score, 63-41 Kansas, leading over DePaul. Kansas guard Brandon Rush was arrested on Thursday for failing to appear in court following two separate traffic violations. He spent about an hour in jail before posting bond for $850. And Coach Self told us yesterday, he said that Rush will be disciplined. It will be internally, it will be secret. He will not divulge exactly how the punishment will go out, but he will handle it. But he will not be suspended. So that matter is closed. That's the way KU wanted to handle it.
Well, when you look at Brandon Rush, obviously you don't want to get traffic violations, but what I don't like is he went down there to pay the violation. They put him in handcuffs.
Yeah, that was a little strange.
I thought...
By the way, Collins is back.
He is back.
You just heard it.
That'll make his foot feel better.
lucky on a shot and a nice job of followed by Dar Tucker. Dar, another solid freshman on this DePaul basketball team. Robinson. And look through the pass. The big men are going to have more assists in this ball game than maybe they had last year put together.
I am so impressed with Darnell Jackson. Yeah, he can score down on the post. He can rebound and block shots, but his ability to pass out of a double team. It's his second straight assist. Had a nice lob to Sasha Khan and then found Russell Robinson underneath on the middle.
Oswald talking about his athleticism as a 6'10" youngster. Dar Tucker just picked up that foul.
Checking in is Jarrell Arthur, replacing Sasha Khan.
Another look at Brandon. That's 3 fouls on Dar Tucker. So Brandon, the situation is, as Hubert was saying, the only thing that really surprised us in a situation like that where the young man was handcuffed. And
then they had television cameras and photographers there, so you don't know what the agenda was for the authorities here in Lawrence, but that's an unfortunate situation, but he paid the fine, and Coach Self at practice couldn't stop talking about Brandon Rush and just having him on this team and how much he enjoys coaching him.
At the line, shooting 2 is
but he also said that first thing he told him is, you're a knucklehead. And you know that for doing what you did. You know, didn't get the date right. His date in court now is next Wednesday. And Brandon was quoted in the local paper today as saying it's on his calendar and he will be there right on time.
Well, he's had a nice game today. 13 points, 3 of 6 from three-point range, and you can see he's starting to get to be 100% after having an ACL tear over the summer. And we talked to Coach Self about guys coming back. He was one of the guys that tried to go into the NBA, got injured, decided to come back. What is their mindset going to be? Are they going to play for the team, or are they going to try to impress NBA scouts? Coach Self kept talking about Brandon Rush, that just what a great attitude, wanting to make the team better, doing whatever it needs to make this team a great team and getting to a Final Four.
Jabari Curry with that last basket. Way too hard on that three-pointer by Collins.
It's interesting. He's talked to Brandon Rush over the last 3 years and wants him to be more aggressive, wants him to be the go-to guy. He was that guy in the NCAA tournament. Terrific from three-point range. Offensively, he really had it going. But Ron, you talked yesterday. You asked him a question. Do you want to be have 30 points, or do you want to shut someone down? And he said, I would rather shut somebody down. So different type of mentality from Brandon Rush.
Here's Rush last year in the NCAA tournament. 19 against Kentucky, 6 of 7 from 3. Against UCLA, 18 points, 5 rebounds. And he was 23 of 37 from the field for 62%. 9 of 11 from three-point range for the entire tournament.
Yeah, at 6'6", I mean, he's a total package. Obviously, he can score, he can shoot from 3, he can get out in transition. But he's also a great defender. Their most versatile defender along last year with Julian Wright, who's now in the NBA with the New Orleans Hornets. These guys are terrific. They could guard 2 or 3 different positions.
Well, you get the feeling that Dre Burns was so tight in that first half, and now the shot seems so much more fluid, and it's kind of...
And the shoulder's feeling better.
Yeah, for sure. Under 10 minutes to play. Robinson, the cutter, alley-oop to Jackson. Had to regather it, then he scored. Well, Jabari Curry tried to save it, hit it on the end line. Beg your pardon. Chalmers, when he touched it, it hit the end zone, the end line, so it'll be DePaul basketball. Speaking of Julian Wright, we'll show you a graphic on him in just a minute.
Yeah, can you imagine this team with Julian Wright here? It's with the New Orleans Hornets right now. Was the 13th selection in the NBA draft. And a guy, in my opinion, very versatile, a defender, a guy that could play 3 or 4 different positions. He started to really develop towards the latter part of last year. It's unfortunate. I know he's making good money and in a great situation with the good New Orleans Hornets team, but I would love to see him stay in college and be a part of this team right here.
Here's a graphic that I was talking about. You see the number of minutes he's playing, points, rebounds, and the games that he has participated in. But every kid that goes to this university is here to get an education and also try to learn a profession and how to make money. He's making 1.7 this year. It's hard to argue with that, isn't it?
It is hard to argue with that, but you know, when you look at kids trying to go into the NBA, I feel like a lot of kids are going in on potential rather than ready to produce. And when you look at Julian Wright, I think he was just starting to reach his potential so that when he got into the NBA, he would be ready to produce.
Offensive foul, Coswell. Well, I have to look at Darnell Jackson as a great example of what you're talking about. I think with the progress that he has made already,
he's going to get an opportunity at the next level.
He will get an opportunity at the next level. I think he's just improving his chances with every ball game, and he's really improved a bunch.
He's a guy that averaged 5 points and 5 rebounds last year. He's averaging double figures, almost 7 rebounds a game, and outside of the guards for Kansas, I think he is their best passer.
You know, what's interesting is that shot is going to be partially blocked and taken away by Chalmers.
Oh!
Jackson.
Oh!
Whoa.
Wow! Wow!
Orinoco SportsCenter in-game update. Dayton and Louisville at Freedom Hall. Look at London Warren for the Flyers. Big bucket. His team goes up 7. Dayton right now leading by 7. Late in the game, it is on ESPN2 right now. Coming up on ESPN after the game, we're watching Kansas DePaul, Delaware at Southern Illinois. Second semifinal in the football championship subdivision. That's coming up next, guys.
Alrighty, thanks very much. Our situation, 74-49 with just under 7:50 to play in our ball game. We're talking about Russell Robinson. He's got 8 assists in this ball game. There's the shot a little too hard. Good, tough work inside, and missing on the foul was Tucker, and then taken away by Chalmers.
Yeah, but you have to like the effort of DePaul. They're still continuing to play. This is a great learning experience for this young team playing in this type of atmosphere. And Darnell Jackson just continues to dominate.
Offensive foul against Jackson. Let's take one more look and also get a reaction from his mom, Sean. Mom likes it. I can understand why.
A lot of people liked it.
Wow, she said. Russell Robinson looking for his 9th assist. Did he save it? Yes. Here's a look at Sean Jackson, Darnell's mom. Joining the crowd with their salute to him on an outstanding day.
Look at his improvement. One of the things Coach Self with Darrell Arthur, good move down low. The big guys have been so aggressive today.
They're going to say basket interference. That the ball was touched after it bounced that first time. No basket. You know, to me, Arthur is the most interesting one on this KU team to watch. To me, he is a scorer who is looking to explode, but he hasn't learned how yet.
And he's not ready yet. If you talk to Coach Bill Self, I think he's ready to explode there.
All right, big fella. All right.
And you were saying, Ron?
Bring it home. It's a career high for Russell Robinson. Let's give him credit first. Here comes the assist, the alley-oop, and Arthur with the jam home.
Hey guys, Stand up. We have a little announcement to make.
He went to Jared. Oh, he went to Jared.
He went to Jared.
He went to Jared?
He went to Jared?
Jared has 5 times the selection of ordinary jewelry stores with thousands of loose diamonds and hundreds of settings to create your own one-of-a-kind ring.
He went to Jared.
I know. He went to Jared. Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Cars.com. Find the right car for you, Cars.com. And in part by the Range Rover 2008, designed for the extraordinary.
And we are back. This, by the way, is the 100th consecutive sellout at Allen Fieldhouse. We haven't mentioned much about it, but the weather is absolutely horrible in this part of the world. Sleet, snow, many roads iced, some closed, and there have been just myriad of wrecks in the Kansas City area. It really talks about and expresses the hardiness of these fans. They're going to come out and see this basketball team play regardless.
Well, there's a lot of time, there's opportunity to see this Kansas basketball team. And if you have a ticket to come, whether it's snow, sleet, rain, thunderstorm, they're going to come see this basketball team play. And they've had a wonderful treat today. Everyone's played well. And
look at this as far as assists. You see Chalmers, the season. He's got 7 today. 9 for Russell, as we mentioned. That's a career high for him.
Darnell Jackson, the starting power forward, has been terrific. Passing the ball down to the other big guy and just really sharing the basketball. Outside of that first 6 minutes of the game, Kansas really put on a clinic on both ends of the floor.
Sharon Collins, in case you joined us late, yes, he has been out since November the 11th, but yes, he has played on 3 different occasions today. Not a huge number of minutes, but they have gotten him into the lineup. Rush for 3. Kahn tips it back and going to be taken down by Tucker. And Tucker will lose it to Kahn and then take it back. And Arthur is called for a foul. I would like to remind you, coming up next on ESPN, the NCAA Division I Football Championship semifinals. That, of course, is formerly what we used to call the Division I AA. Presented by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. It's the Blue Hens against the Salukis. Delaware taking on Southern Illinois. The game, of course, is in Carbondale. Long three-pointer by Walker off the mark. Rush. Oh, he's right there and he missed it. About to go under 5 minutes to play. And here's Chalmers with another steal, and he bounced past it right to Dar Tucker. Bosic lost it. Going to come back to Rush, and on his spin move, he loses it to Bazookas. Trying to pick up the foul, not there. Tip won't go. Kahn tips it back out. Chalmers will slow down the pace. He'll take the three-pointer.
Mario Chalmers.
30-point ball game.
You have to be careful in this situation, especially for Kansas. You want to continue to still play hard, play the right way. See Kansas really smiling, feeling good about their performance here, but they want to do a good job and finish this game off.
Dar Tucker with a three-pointer. Tucker now with 14 points. Arthur off the mark of the turnaround hook shot. Bouncer inside. Koshwald is fouled, and that'll be against Chalmers, and we'll take a timeout. 3:54 remaining. 79-52 Jayhawks.
Dude.
perfect gift. Shop Zale's biggest sale of the year. Now through Sunday, take up to an extra 15% off store-wide at Zale's, the Diamond Store.
This holiday season, leave the perfect hint for your wish list. Dreams come true during the Lincoln Wish List event, featuring the Lincoln MKX, the fastest-selling luxury crossover, and the season's hottest new must-have, exclusive sync from Microsoft with voice commands for phone, music, and more. Find the ultimate holiday gift during the Lincoln Wish List event.
We're in Carbondale for the Division I semifinal matchup between Delaware and Southern Illinois. A couple of very good quarterbacks to look at. Nick Hill, the lefty, slinging it for the Salukis, and Joe Flacco, an NFL prospect for Delaware. That's coming up very soon after basketball.
Okay, Pam, our situation is 79-52. Kansas leading DePaul with just under 4 minutes to play. Armani Edwards, I don't know how many people saw the ball game or not, but this Appalachian State team, you remember, back in the first weekend of the year, knocked off Michigan at the Big House. Here's one of the reasons. I mean, they're not devoid of talent. 313 rushing, 4 touchdowns, passing at 182, and 3 more touchdowns. That's accounting for 7 touchdowns in one ball game. That is equivalent to scoring over 30 points or 35 in a basketball game.
Where's the defense? That's what I'm looking at, Ron.
Oswald really unlucky in that one as it came back out, but they come away with a rebound.
3-point basket's good for Traylon Burns.
Burns has finally got it going here in this second half. Seven points it shows for him. Actually, I thought he had more than that. Going to be touched last by KU. It'll go and DePaul will have the basketball. 3.5 minutes to play. On ESPN2, Louisville down right now. Dre Burns almost made the steal. Bob Davis, the play-by-play announcer for KU Radio, with a nice set of hands there. But you do that when you're protecting your own head.
You are. It's interesting that Louisville's down against Dayton. Dayton's a very good basketball team, but Louisville's been struggling. They're going to have David Pageant out the rest of the year, has another injury, but they still have guys down low at Derek Character and Juan Palacios, Edgar Sosa as a point guard. I still think they're going to be a good basketball team in the Big East.
That is twice today we have had. They need to know this is Saturday. Banks are closed.
Matt Koshwal had one in the first half as well.
Oh, my. Ron Collins back into the ball game with about 2.5 minutes to play. Shoots the three, and he gets it from the corner. Connor Tehan also in the ball game. From Leawood, Kansas, Rockhurst High School is Connor, 6'5", 205. And a reminder, tonight on ESPN, college football's heroes of the past welcome a new member to their exclusive club. One player will transcend greatness and become a legend. The Heisman Trophy presentation presented by Nissan on ESPN tonight at 8 Eastern. Who will it be? Tebow, Daniel, or will it be Colt Brennan or Darren McFadden?
Who do you like, Ron?
I think that McFadden probably should be the front runner. I know that Tebow has a lot of fans out there, but after McFadden had a huge night, not only against LSU, but in Baton Rouge, his game against South Carolina, another good, very good defensive team, Tennessee, he proved to me that with over 1,700 yards and 145 yards a ball game, that's Heisman type of
numbers. He's second place last year.
Who do you think?
You know, I like Darren McFadden as well. Also Colt Brennan. I know that Tim Tebow's getting a lot of hype. He's a terrific football player, but you know, it's interesting. Tim Tebow loses 3 games this year, and quarterback last year, Chris Leak, wins the SEC, wins the national championship, and he wasn't even in consideration of winning a Heisman. So yeah. I'm not sure what they're looking at.
You could see that poll just a moment ago. Sports Nation on ESPN.com. They have Tebow and McFadden at a dead heat. And that's 270,000 votes. We'll see how representative that is. As the chant has already started, we have 1 minute and 10 seconds to play. The jam by Dar Tucker is missed. T-hand for a three-pointer. Oh, wouldn't go.
That's a rare miss for him. He was 9 of 11 coming into this game from three-point range.
Well, the big fella coming in for a block right there, Aldridge. They got a new clock, though. They'll count that one for Bazookas. And Collins, no basket. Postage will pick up the foul. Four personal fouls on him. We got 38.1 seconds remaining in our ball game.
At the line is Sharon Collins.
You see the scoring, 44 for the starters and 40 off the bench. Bill Self has got a pretty good luxury there, doesn't he?
He does.
Wow.
And now with everyone healthy coming back, you may have like a guy like Roderick Stewart who's played terrific at the beginning. Nice dunk by Dar Tucker.
He got this one to go. Yeah. I tell you, when you're getting that kind of point production off the bench, your starters get 44, your off the bench gets 40. That's almost like, which Ferrari am I going to drive today, huh?
It's nice to have that luxury. It's going to be an interesting Big 12 race.
Case into the ball game. Three-pointer there off the mark. Tushwald. Sasha Khan with 15 points, the leading scorer. Talk about an inauspicious beginning. He did not have a good start. And after a couple of quick fouls, coach put him on the bench, but came back and righted the ship. And this one is history.
Final score, Kansas 84, DePaul 66.
So the final score is Kansas 84 and DePaul 66. Up next on ESPN, the NCAA Division I Football Championship semifinals, Delaware against Southern Illinois. I'm Ron Franklin for Hubert Davis and our entire ESPN crew. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long, everybody, from Lawrence, Kansas, 84-66. KU wins it.
Dari Noka in studio. Football just moments away as we'll get out to Southern Illinois and Delaware. But first, want to show you what has happened so far in this day in college basketball, starting with the first game of the day on ESPN, Arizona and Illinois. Kevin O'Neal, the first man you saw, going to coach the Wildcats for the remainder of the season while Luke Olson is out. Don't forget MJ's son, Jeff, plays for Illinois. Look at the big play there. Chester Frazier, the alley-oop to Mike Davis. Illini up 12. Nick Wise, the tough shot. Arizona starting to come back. It was a terrible start. They fell behind 12-0. Arizona coming back. Illinois gets a big three from Trent Meacham. 3 of his 16. They were back up 6. And then Chase Budinger to Jordan Hill. Wildcats' first lead of the game comes with under a minute to go. Calvin Brock, a big jumper, though. Illinois back up 1. 12 seconds left. Wise drives, cannot hit. Oh, big putback, though, by Hill. 23 points, game tied at 61. And then Frazier late in the game. Last chance, ball stripped away from Wise. Appears to call timeout. They didn't have any, but he wasn't granted the timeout. So we go to overtime. Jared Bayless, the fabulous freshman, with 20 points for Arizona as the Wildcats get a 6-point road win in Chicago over Illinois. Upset at Freedom Hall. Illinois suffers its second loss of the season at the hands of the Dayton Flyers. Brian Roberts, a game-high 28 points in that one. Duke blasts John Beilein in Michigan 95-67. Michigan falls to 3-6 while Duke stays perfect. And Washington right now leading number 9 Pitt at the half, 37-34. Pitt enters this game at 8-0. Ryan Appleby 12 points leading the Huskies. Coming up next, though, we get you out to Carbondale, Illinois. Southern Illinois and Delaware, second semifinal of the football championship subdivision. Out to Pam Ward.